meeting of the Charter Revision Commission on Wednesday, May 16, 2018. We'll start with the roll call. On my left, Mary.
Mary Portress.
Mike Supranat.
Tom Sinkwitz.
Louisa Tripis.
Lou Sawyer. We'll move on to approving the minutes of our last meeting. Did everybody get a chance to look at them?
I'll make a motion we approve the meeting minutes for May 9th, 2018.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to public participation. Louisa, you'll speak as part of the regular meeting rather than this to do questions. Is anybody from the general public here to speak?
Yeah. I'm not even sure who to address my questions, concerns to this evening. One of the things that's become a concern, I don't know if any of you had a chance to see the town of Killingly's.
I'm sorry, can you just state your name again?
Naomi Smith. The town of Killingly's revising, doing charter revision, and they're taking an 18-month process just to make sure that they have it done accurately. They discussed and outlined in the newspaper just the preliminary process that they're going to be doing to get ready to even file to start their board. I looked over the cost manual. I don't know if any of you are familiar with them. They basically handled, it's a legislative body of retired town officials, attorneys, people working in legislation. They formulated a committee and they outlined for municipalities how to do our town charters. I read through their manual in-depthly. I have a lot of concerns with the way their charter revision is even being handled, the way it's being structured. A lot of the things that we're putting up for revision, I don't know if you're aware, a couple of the questions were actually posed in 2007 for the revision. They were voted down. So that was a concern when I found that. We're not following everything in our charter the way we're supposed to be. We're kind of a little all over the place with certain aspects of it. I understand that the revision board takes into consideration from the Board of Selectmen and from Mr. Sinkowitz, and it gets advice from them. However, I'm not sure that some of the things that are looking to be amended are necessarily what the town people might have been looking for amendments. And I don't know where our voices are really being heard in that. One of them being, even if you look at, I don't know how many of you have even taken an opportunity to read our town charter, but our election process, our first selectman, is supposed to be handled as if we have, okay, let me do this, like, kind of fill you in a little bit. When Paul Sweet was our selectman, when no one was running up against him, then there become vacancies for second and third selectman seat. Our charter states that if anyone is running in opposition, it goes first runner-up is selectman, second runner-up is second, third runner-up is third. So we had 5 people this year. We didn't have vacancies for second and third. We did not follow charter. So that's a concern, which means the second and the third seat could have been challenged. I did go ahead and contact the Secretary of State about it. I contacted the Electoral Commission that does all the enforcement. Charter supersedes state statute. We follow it. Our charter states that we work in conjunction with state statute. What the state statute says is whatever your charter says your electoral process is, that's what you follow. If you have vacancies, then you can take the 20 signatures, file with the clerk for the ballot. So we did not handle that correctly, but that's not something we're even looking to amend, fix, change, address. So there's a lot of different issues that I don't know if are even being looked at, have been looked at. The question even removing the word petition from the charter, I went over that. I can understand where the court ruled on that, but what are we doing to amend how our town meetings are going to be run? because Irene Bissett said that if we cut the poll places down to one poll, that the registers could give us an all-day meeting. As Louisa stated in one of the previous Board of Finance meetings, we can't do that for town meeting for an all-day vote until the question and the meeting's open. So are we going to try to change the hours? How is that going to be amended in our charter? So I just have some concerns that there's things going on here that we're not looking at, that maybe the board might want to take some advisement on, that I think are concerning for the town. I mean, if we're not following the charter or in compliance with the general statutes on something, I mean, as laid out as our voting and our electoral, we can end up with a possible problem with that. So, I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments.
Well, just a comment. This is a charter revision commission, not a charter enforcement commission.
Right.
I think that comes later on with board of selectmen, let's say, if we were doing something in accordance with the charter, make sure that we're doing it correctly. As far as the wishes of the people, we did have a public hearing. That was the time for the people to say, I want this, I want that, I don't like this, or whatever. That didn't happen. What we presented, at the first public hearing was generally accepted, and that's what we're going to move forward with.
Okay, that's,
And obviously, I want to throw to Louisa, because all elections are approved by the Secretary of State.
Yeah, and I actually have a question about that.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure what you're talking about the election of the first selectman, but are you looking at section 4-1A? Is that where you're
on the
looking?
charter?
In the charter? Because it says the candidate for first selectman receiving the highest number of votes for said office shall be declared elected first selectman. That is what we always did.
Right.
And then it says the candidates, including the unsuccessful candidates for the
My
office of
charter
first
doesn't-
selectman.
The charter that I have does not read that.
What charter do you have?
Supposedly the most current one.
Where did you get
That was
that?
amended all the way through 2007,
Yeah, that's this.
but mine does not state that.
I'm not sure then, I'm sorry where you're getting that, because this is that charter.
Then I'm gonna have to come in your office and get a copy of that,
Of course.
because this one here that I have does not
Doesn't say
state,
that?
no.
Well,
And the one
so-
on mine doesn't either.
Okay, so there must be some issue there, because that is how we.
Could you
do
please
follow
read
that.
it to me, or could I
Sure,
take a look
if
at
you
it?
don't mind.
Okay.
Or I just could just do it at the end, I can take a look at it.
Oh, sure.
You can take my book while
Great,
we're
great, thank you.
Okay. And the other thing, just to keep, just to clear up what Irene Bissett said. Irene Bissett said that if there was a referendum, we could.
That's not the way she explained it to me.
Okay, okay, so if there is a referendum, we can change those hours. But a town meeting is a town meeting, and we're a town meeting form of government. So unless we change our form of government, we vote at town meeting, and a town meeting is a meeting. So,
But that can be called at any time, correct?
say that again.
That can be called by the selectmen at any time, correct?
A town meeting can be called at any time,
Isn't that at the discretion of the first selectman?
or the Board of Selectmen would call a town
Right.
meeting, and you can petition for a referendum if it's not involving the budget process. We've already cleared that up. So people can petition to have a subject go to a referendum, but if it doesn't, if that fails and we go to town meeting, that can only be at a certain time.
Right, but okay, what's that specific time is what I'm saying for the town meeting?
Then the Board of Selectmen calls the
So
town.
that could be called at any time, and then could there be a degree of varying where it's open for longer hours?
No, it can't be because until a question is moved at a meeting, there is no question.
Right, I
So-
understand that. So what
okay.
I'm saying is instead of holding it at 7 o'clock at night, if the Board of Selectmen decided to hold a meeting at noon time, could it stay open? I mean, when do
Well,
we have to close the meeting?
I mean, you would have to have the parties that are present sit there from, what, noon to 7, waiting for people to show up at a meeting? No.
And then if somebody motioned to close the meeting, you can be seconded, and then they can vote on it, and they can close the meeting at 12:05 if it's a town meeting.
close it at 5 minutes later after the ballots?
Absolutely,
Okay.
because it's a town meeting, right?
Right, and that's our form of government. Our form of government is a town meeting selectman form of government, and so, you know, part of this is probably maybe opinion, but if we went to a referendum for every single thing we had to decide.
Yeah, I understand all of that. It'd
Yeah.
be too expensive, I understand.
Not
That's
just the
not.
expense, but you would never get anything done. So our form of government is town meeting. The point is to get people together in a meeting to make decisions, and it's warned well in advance, and we do it by statute, and we warn it in the places the statutes tell us we have to do it, and people that are interested come, and people who aren't or have other priorities don't. But
I'm
that's
gonna
the form of
I'll
government.
review this one,
Yeah.
but thank you.
You're welcome, and definitely look at that charter, because I'm not sure what you have.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out where the discrepancy is, definitely.
Is there any other public participation? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the draft report. Louisa.
Okay, so I do. I spoke to the town attorney, and I just passed out, I just did a really quick, so if there's any errors on here, I apologize, but the town attorney has gone through all 9 questions that we brought to him, and 2 of them he is not ready to give us an answer on in terms of a possible question, because he has to do a little more research. The 3rd question was, you know, we can go through them, they're pretty self-explanatory. The 3rd question, really, in our document to him, the 3rd question was section 2-3B, and that is about the annual meeting, and the report. And what I did not realize, and I'm gonna pass these out to you too, I'm quite honestly, I'm not sure what section I looked at that I read that seemed to me that a narrative was not required, but he pointed out section 7-406, and I'll pass, I just printed this, and 7-406, according to his interpretation, means that we must have a narrative report from all boards and commissions and departments. So he's saying we should have an annual report. This is the last annual report that was created, and I just brought a couple copies for you to look at. I think we might be able to do it maybe a little less expensive as it was. I'm not even sure how much it cost, but he said he would say take that question off the ballot because we must have a narrative report according to the statute.
Okay.
So question 3 that I called 2, but it was really 2 pieces, A and B, and I didn't separate that. So he said, well, that's good because we need to take B off. So taking B off, question 3 is 2-4 about separating the budget question so that one doesn't matter if one passes, one fails, they're separate from each other. He needs to do more research on that. And on question 5, which was about the voting districts versus voting places, he needs to do more research on that before he comes up with an answer or any advice.
And when was he planning on doing this research?
He's working on it.
Okay.
Okay, so he got this done by, I asked him to do it by today. He got these questions pretty much set for today. I think I had emailed you and mentioned about the Board of Assessment Appeals being called the Board of Tax Review, which I just didn't notice until recently. If I didn't, I was waiting for today. So in the charter, under the section of elected boards, which is 4-1, I think, I just noticed that G is Board of Tax Review, and we really don't have a Board of Tax Review. We call it the Board of Assessment Appeals. He said we probably can add that into question 8 and make it we didn't do it yet, but we could probably add that in to correct the verbiage and make it the Board of Assessment Appeals. But here's the 9 questions you proposed to him, minus 2 he's doing more research on. So is there any questions about that?
No. Did you happen to check with the printer and see that all these are fit?
Okay, so I checked with the printer, but John Casey only just got back to me today. And so the printer said he really needed some more substance before he could tell us. But John Casey suggested that I ask the printer how many characters we could fit in a box, and that would help us figure out how many boxes this would take.
Okay.
So I will ask him tomorrow, but I didn't have time today after I talked to Mr. Casey.
So, we weren't planning on having a meeting next week. We were going to have the public hearing on the 31st, but this is something that we probably should have a meeting on so that we can get it worked out and finalized before the public hearing. So we should probably schedule a special meeting for next Wednesday night at 5:30.
Which would be
What is that?
23.
Yeah, we're not talking more of it.
Because your public hearing is May 30th, correct? Was it the 30th?
Yeah. 30th or 31st?
30th.
30th.
So that's for your public hearing, so you'll have a special meeting on the 23rd. And hopefully by then, he'll have those 2 other questions ready, and the printer will be able to tell us if we
So
have
we should
them.
be able to get everything all set.
I think so.
So we should have somebody make a motion for a special meeting next Wednesday at 5:30.
I'll make a motion. Have a special meeting next Thursday at 5:30.
I second.
Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday, sorry.
Second that Wednesday.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, it carries. Or shall we have a special meeting next Wednesday at 5:30?
I may have a conflict with that, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Can you address that, Tim?
No. No.
So, I'm not sure there's anything else that we can really do tonight without any answers to these questions.
Again, is there anything that I need to do to change anything for next week then?
I don't think so. I think it's all going to be up to the attorney right now.
It's what I think also, so nothing to change on that.
I don't think so. We're just waiting for John Casey to come up with wording for these 2 items, and then we should be able to move forward.
For number 3 and 5. right?
Yes. Does that sound right, Louisa?
It does. He did ask me to create a document, and if you don't mind, I will create the document, but what he asked for was, or you can if you'd rather, he kind of wants a sort of a spreadsheet, and he wants column 1 to be the way it is worded right now, current wording. Column 2 be current wording with our scratch outs showing what we're taking out or adding.
Okay.
Column 3 is our final, what we want it to say, and column 4 would be our question to the public to get to where we want it to say. So he wanted to look at it in a different format. He said he thought it would be a little easier for him. Now, he's already come up with the questions, but, so it's not like he needs this tomorrow or to come up with the 3 and 5. He doesn't need it for that reason, but he said it would be easier for him to look at it that way. So I told him I'd put something together if you
You
want
have
to.
all this in Word format where you can easily do that?
I probably can cut and paste from
Why
something.
don't you do that for us?
I will, if I want to. Okay.
Thank you.
So that was all he said.
Is there anything else that anybody has for tonight? Someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Until next Wednesday.